What's good, family? Coming to you with another car ride video. Woke up another Monday morning. I was not a millionaire. I'm really trying to get through that. I don't know how I'm gonna muster up the strength to make it through the day, another Monday with not being a millionaire, but somehow I'm gonna do it. Nah, but seriously, I just wanted to come to you guys because I had some thoughts about protecting your peace, and I just want to share that with you. To me, protecting your peace basically means that you're picking your battles. You're not reacting to every negative situation that you may encounter. I like the way that Live with Leah describes it. I love her. Shout out to Live with Leah. And she talks about emotional intelligence. Basically being able to separate your emotions from situations and not be reactive, but actually use your intelligence to guide you through the situation. A lot of times we are reactive to things. We make decisions based on emotions, and there's nothing wrong with feeling emotional. We all are emotional beings. We all go through the whole range of emotions. But when those emotions start to get in the way of your peace, you being able to maintain your peace, then it's time to regroup. And it took me a while to get to this place. And it's not to say that I am, as you all like to say, unbothered. That's not true. It's not that I'm unbothered by things. Nothing bothers me. But I know that there's a time and place for everything. And so I try to first check myself, make sure that I am not reacting emotionally, or that I haven't been triggered by something. Again, that's something that we don't want to admit as people, is that we have triggers, you know, just certain things that send us into a certain mind space, right? A lot of us don't like to admit that, because in today's generation, there's this thing about being a savage, you know. I guess that means just being a badass, or not letting anything bother you, or being invincible. And that's just simply not true. Being a savage means that you have very limited options in how you react to things. And usually how you're going to react to things might cause a scene. That's what being savage means to me. I really feel like I said, there's a time and place for things. Not saying don't stand up for yourself. Not saying don't call out the wrongdoings that are going on. But just making sure that you are not sacrificing your peace for something that in the long run is not going to be conducive to your well-being. So one way I like to kind of gauge, I first of all, I stop and pause when I feel myself feeling something. I stop and pause. Is this a me problem? Am I triggered right now? Am I being emotional? Am I reading it too much into it? And if the answer is no, then the next thing, okay, if I go to sleep right now and I wake up a few hours later, am I still going to be upset about this? If my answer is yes, then that means that I need to take some type of action. Now, some type of action does not mean having to be like full on confrontational, cuss you out, talk about your mom and your kids and your pets, and put you down as a person and all that. That's not what that means to me. What that means to me is I just need to act accordingly. So if I already peep, okay, but well, for instance, in my experience, I've had some pretty negative experiences with just finding people out for who they really are, you know, finding out that people weren't who they said that they were, you know what I mean? So when I notice that, when I'm starting to notice that you aren't who you said that you were, I don't have to confront you. I just act accordingly. Because a lot of times, it's nothing you can do to get them to change, or even to get them to see what you're saying. Because most people, when they're confronted about how they do someone else wrong, most people can't even admit that there was some type of wrongdoing done. If anything, they become upset with you for pointing them out, right? So that's a mute issue. You know, me personally, I've gotten out of trying to convince someone of my feelings, trying to convince anyone of anything. You know, just like my perception is my reality, I've come to terms that other people's perception is their reality as well. The most I can do is inform you, and then once you have been informed, you know, hey, you're making me feel like this when you do that, and they don't make any changes or whatever the situation is, then I move on. I know in the future, okay, I need to handle this person with care, or I don't need to deal with them at all. If it's a person that is dispensable, like, and I don't want to get caught up in labels like your mom or your dad, because I'm going to touch that in a second. I mean, like, people who there's no way around working with them because they're at your job, they work with you, they're probably your supervisor. I don't want to say you need them in some capacity, but you know, you come across difficult people or shitty people every day. And sometimes it's just not easy to eradicate them from your life because, like I said, if they're on your job and you need your job and, you know, you don't have your new job today, you have to deal with them up until you find you another job, right? So that's what I mean when I say indispensable. I'm not talking about your mom or your dad because, hey, those labels don't mean anything to me. If my mom or my dad is disrupting my peace, I will inform them of it. And if they continue to disrupt my peace, then I have to fall back. And I have done that before. I've done that before. And for however long it takes. However long it takes for them to get a clue that they are not going to be dysfunctional in your life. If we're going to have a relationship, it's going to be a real relationship. It's going to be a nurturing relationship, and it's not going to be a toxic relationship. I don't have to deal with toxic people, and I don't have to be abused by anyone, not even my mom or my dad. Protecting your peace means putting your peace before all other emotions, before all other labels, relationships, friendships, what have you. And one of the biggest things that I found why I struggle with protecting my peace is because I felt guilty, because I felt selfish. I felt like I had to deal with other people's crap. And that if I didn't deal with other people's crap, then that made me selfish. And maybe it does. But when the outcome is I get to not be invested in negative feelings, I'm okay with that. I feel like anyone who loves and cares about me, if I come to them and, you know, and delivery is key. If I come to them and say, hey, you're making me feel like this when this happens, and they totally disregard my feelings and they continue to move in a way that I have already expressed to them that is hurting me in some type of way, they don't care about me. It doesn't matter if they're my dad. It doesn't matter if they're my mom. It doesn't matter if they're my grandma. And it doesn't matter if they're my cousin. It doesn't matter if they're my best friend. The only thing you owe them is to let them know what's going on, just simply because they cannot read your mind. But as far as engaging into negative interactions that's not going to yield anything of value, if anything is going to take away from you, I cannot engage in that. I have to protect my peace. Because let me tell you something, and it's going to sound so corny and so cliche, but I'm almost 35 now, and it took me, I'm going to say it took me about 33 years to get here. I'm not even going to lie. No one is going to love you and treat you as well as you love and treat yourself. Do you believe me when I say that? I'm talking about your mom and your dad, your best friend, your sister. And that's not to say no one loves you. That's not to say no one treats you well. I'm sure all those people love you. But what I'm saying is you owe yourself that same love, that same treatment you're wanting other people to give to you, that good treatment, that good love. You owe that to yourself. Are you giving yourself the best love? Are you giving yourself the best treatment that you can? You know, RuPaul always says it. If you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? That's a true statement. Because what happens is, if you're not loving yourself, you're not going to require other people to love you in that way either. If you're out here disrespecting yourself, you're not going to get respect from other people, because you're not going to require that of them. Respect isn't important to you. And a lot of people don't even realize what it looks like when they're not loving themselves. A lot of people don't even realize that they're addicted to drama. I had a friend like that. It was like, if something was not going wrong in her life, like if everything was going well, that sent her into like chaos, if that makes sense. There always had to be something going on, some kind of drama, conflict with someone, in order for her day to go round. And I actually said that to her, and she got upset with me, because I think she felt like I didn't want to listen, but it wasn't that. I was just trying to encourage her to pick her battles. And, you know, I understand that different things bother different people. Like, in this age of unbotheredness, you know, that's another thing that's celebrated. You know, feeling emotionally numb and emotionally removed. And you guys call that being a savage and being unbothered, when really you're dealing with the trauma that hasn't been addressed yet. That's why you don't want to feel. People who don't want to feel, people who think that they don't have emotions, you have the strongest type of emotions. So strong that you can't even deal with it. You can't even fathom dealing with it. So you tell yourself that you don't feel anything, right? Unbothered people. The thing about being unbothered is that is subjective. Simply because what bothers me may not bother you, and what bothers you may not bother me. But the thing about it is, people, they like to make, okay, so let's say that I'm not bothered by this one thing, but somebody else is. So because they are bothered and I am not, that means that I am stronger than them. That doesn't even make any sense. Emotionally, that is. That they are stronger than that person emotionally. And that simply just is not true. It really is not. If anything, you're afraid to go through your feelings. And that's like one of the biggest things that I'm coming to realize just about life and people in general. Is like, life is just one big game of avoiding pain. Nobody wants to go through it. Of course, who wants to go through pain, right? But pain is just one of those things that it's just inescapable. Like, at some point in your life, you're going to come across something or someone that's going to disappoint you, that's going to betray you, hurt you, you know, what anger you, whatever the feeling, whatever the negative feeling may be. Some point in time, you're going to come across at least one of them, right? When you come across that, you can't just stay on that side. You know what I'm saying? That side of the river. You have to go through the pain to get to the other side. But most people, they don't want to go through the pain. They see like that river flowing and those currents and things like that, and they get afraid of being swept up and not being able to recover, and they stay on one side of the river, which stunts their growth. You know, so we got to get away from that. We got to get away from that. And I think a good way to kind of go into that is by taking care of yourself, making sure that you are protecting your peace. You're not engaging in unnecessary negative interactions. Does that make sense? I just have found that, and I don't want to sound negative, life is full of joy. Life is just full of joy and full of love, and it's beautiful, and it's just so many beautiful things that comes out of it. But there is a dark side to life, and it's all about your recovery. You know what I mean? Like, I used to think life was about just having this lavish life, all the money, all the friends, all the love. You know, that's what a good life meant. But, you know, I'm looking at all of the people that have those things, the famous people that are killing themselves. And it's just like, it makes you wonder what is going on with them that they feel so hopeless, you know? And so that brings you back to recovery. Life is about how well you can recover the traumas that you've been through. And I'm using that word lightly because I am not like a mental health professional. I do not work in the mental health field or anything like that. I'm not an expert on trauma or anything. I'm just a little bit familiar with it through my work. But as far as like being licensed and certified and all that, no. So I'm not going to get too in depth with the word trauma, but this is just my observation that I have seen. I've seen in myself, I've gone completely out of the way to avoid pain. You know, put myself in unnecessary situations where if I just had taken the bull by the horns and just addressed my feelings head on, like I would have came out on the other side of that much quicker, you know. So this is just me just sharing a few of my thoughts about that. Maybe someone else is just going through that where they're just feeling constantly frustrated, just unable to just get a peace of mind. Guys, once you have that peace of mind, you have to have it in order for you to really understand what I'm saying right now. Once you have had a taste of a peace of mind, and that's not to say that you're not worried about anything ever, that nothing ever bothers you. It's just about picking the things that you choose to engage in. You know, I mean, like, let's say, for instance, someone cuts me off on the road or someone's rude to me. Whatever, something that just got me in my feelings. If it wasn't something that was like significant and impactful, if it was just something that I can just get over in a few minutes, it's not worth me engaging in a negative interaction with them. You know what I mean? Like it's okay, like, okay, that really annoyed the shit out of you, or you know, I might will cuss you out from behind the wheel. I might would do that. But as far as like, let's say following you and just to cuss you out and tell you how I was upset about how you treated me, it's not worth it. So it's about being able to pick your battles, realizing what's important to you, what values are important to you, realizing when you're engaging in activities that's not conducive to your overall well-being, your peace of mind. If this interaction is going to take away from my overall peace of mind or my ability to attain a peace of mind, I cannot engage in it. And you have to be unapologetic about that. And it doesn't matter if it's your mom, your dad, whomever. You have to be absolutely unapologetic about that and remind yourself that if these people cared about you, like they say they do, they would totally respect what you're saying, and they would try their hardest to be sensitive in the future to not place you in similar positions like that again. You know, don't feel guilty about that. Do not. Self-care is important. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Stay tuned for another video. Love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and leave your thoughts below. Bye.